Let's go, Browns Nation. What unfolds when loyalty, betrayal, and unrelenting ambition collide at the epicenter of one of the NFL's most historic rivalries? Buckle up, Cleveland, because this offseason has delivered one of the most explosive and emotionally charged sagas in recent memory. Former Browns safety Juan Thornhill, now suited up in the dreaded black and gold of our archenemies, the Pittsburgh Steelers, didn't merely swap jerseys. He ignited a powder keg that set the entire AFC North on fire. But before we dive into the heat, if you've been repping the Browns for 20 plus years, smash that like button. And if your heart says we're Super Bowl bound, drop this in the comments. Go Browns! I love you with all my heart. Now, let's get into it. Thornhill didn't just drop a quote. He fired a warning shot. They definitely need to see me twice a year. That wasn't said casually. It was deliberate, intentional. A former warrior of the dog pound, a man who once bled orange and brown, now lines up against us, ready to strike the very squad that once called him brother. This isn't just rivalry anymore, it's personal. Thornhill's exit wasn't graceful, it wasn't clean. A string of injuries sabotaged what was supposed to be a defining chapter in Cleveland. The front office, faced with tough roster decisions, released him with a year still left on his deal. Behind the scenes, tension, frustration, whispers of discontent. Now, that quiet frustration has evolved into a full-blown revenge mission, and we're directly in the crosshairs. But make no mistake, Thornhill isn't just some rotational piece. He's a battle-tested veteran. With 87 games under his belt, 2 Super Bowl rings from Kansas City, and a resume that includes 337 tackles, 8 interceptions, and 24 passes defended. The man is a proven playmaker. Sure, Fitzpatrick owns the starting spot in Pittsburgh's secondary, but Thornhill isn't heading there to ride the pine. He's coming to make a statement. And the statement starts in Cleveland. Meanwhile, while the Steelers are stoking old flames, the Browns are birthing a new fire of their own. Enter Shedeur Sanders. He didn't come here just to learn. He came to lead. From day one, the buzz around Sanders has been electric. With the poise of a 10-year vet and the hunger of a rookie with something to prove, Shedeur is rewriting expectations at camp. Every rep, every throw, every decision. This kid looks born for the moment. Coaches are watching. Teammates are rallying. And that quarterback competition, it's wide open. Sanders isn't shying away from the pressure. He's thriving in it. The son of Dion, yes. But also a young man determined to forge his own legend in the league. And speaking of legends, no name echoes through the soul of the dog pound louder than Nick Chubb. So when Chubb penned his heartfelt farewell after inking a $2,500,000 0-cents deal with the Houston Texans, it felt like a gut punch. Cleveland, you didn't just embrace me, you became family. We felt that because we saw the blood, the bruises, and the burden he carried, all without complaint. Nick didn't just run for yards, he ran with our hopes. But as always, the unforgiving machinery of professional football spares no sentiment. With fresh talent infused from the 2025 NFL Draft and Jerome Ford stepping confidently into the spotlight, the Browns front office was forced to make a heart-wrenching decision. And yet Nick Chubb's parting words, "Until we meet again," still echo like a solemn vow. Maybe not as a player, maybe not this season, but someday, a one-day contract, a final curtain call in the brown and orange feels inevitable. As Chubb tugged at our heartstrings with a farewell that felt more like poetry than prose, the Browns' defense was undergoing a transformation. Not a rebuild, but a reinforced resurrection. Myles Garrett, still one of ours. Despite a trade request that briefly rattled the fan base, Garrett doubled down, re-signing for 4 more years and $160 million, 0 cents. That's more than a deal. It's a declaration. He believes. He's all in. To support that vision, Cleveland selected Mason Graham with the 5th overall pick and brought in seasoned defensive tackle Maliek Collins to fortify the trenches. Collins isn't flashy. He's not a headline grabber. He's stepping straight into the inferno with a level of poise and swagger that's downright infectious. There's a shift underway in Cleveland, and if you've been paying attention, you can feel it in your chest. The quarterback battle is intensifying. The locker room is pulsing with energy. The city, holding its breath. Sanders isn't just facing any competition. He's up against seasoned pros, veterans who've taken real NFL hits, led huddles, and weathered pressure. But Shedeur is different. It's not just his pinpoint passes or quick reads that turn heads. It's the command, the presence, the way he walks into the huddle like he owns the moment. He's not asking for permission. He's earning the crown, rep by rep, throw by throw. Coaches are locked in. Teammates are buying in. They'll compliment Shedeur's footwork, praise his film study, but the real reps, the first team snaps, they're still locked behind glass like family heirlooms. Coaches are defaulting to safe bets, while Shedeur's left managing second and third string rotations. And that leads to the real question. If Shedeur Sanders had a different last name, if he weren't the son of football's most polarizing icon, would the Browns already be shaping him into the franchise's future? The stats scream yes. The tape confirms it. Even Kevin Stefanski can't help but gush. But the depth chart, it still whispers, not yet. The league, comfortable dragging its feet, but reckonings don't vanish. They build pressure until they break through. Every laser Shedeur launches in Berea inches us closer to that reckoning, where raw, undeniable talent collides with outdated narratives and institutional inertia. Let's break down those numbers. 77% completion in practice. That's not just sharp, it's absurd. Training camp sessions are chaotic. Receivers rotating, playbook shifting, unpredictable scripts. Rookies usually hover near 60% while trying to process the language of the league. Veterans often miss more than fans realize. But Shedeur, he's not just surviving, he's commanding. And those 9 touchdowns, that's surgical work. These aren't checkdowns or gimmies. He's dropping red zone darts, threading 30-yard throws, lofting precision touch passes over defenders, multiple reads, complex concepts, elite-level ball placement. Meanwhile, Dylan Gabriel's hovering in the high 50s with 3 interceptions. Kenny Pickett, playing it safe. Flacco, when the pocket collapses, so does he. Statistically, Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback on the field right now. So why isn't anyone saying it out loud? Because admitting it would mean confronting the fact that they got the draft narrative wrong, that all the critiques about anticipation or the gimmicky Colorado system were off base. And some people in this league, they're still not ready to admit that Deion Sanders might have been right. Again. But here's the thing. Numbers don't lie. They don't care about legacy, politics, or perception. They are what they are. And every time a beat reporter tweets out another eye-popping stat, the silence surrounding Shedeur feels less like caution and more like denial. And denial? It has an expiration date. If this kid keeps stacking 77% days, it won't matter how far down the depth chart you bury him. Truth finds daylight, and when it does, it incinerates every excuse. Now, let's be fair. This isn't a knock on Joe Flacco. That wasn't just a goodbye. That was a love letter, an anthem to everything this fan base stands for. Heart, grit, passion. Nick Chubb may wear another jersey, but his soul is forever Cleveland. Meanwhile, as emotions swell over Chubb's farewell, the Browns' defense is quietly becoming a monster. Enter Mason Graham, selected 5th overall, not to be groomed slowly, but to disrupt immediately. He's a pocket-collapsing, momentum-shifting force who demands double teams. And next to him, Myles Garrett, our gladiator, committed for 4 more years, $160 million, 0 cents strong. That's not just a re-signing. That's a declaration. He's here to finish what he started. Now add Maliek Collins to the mix. A technician, a grinder, a veteran who isn't chasing a quiet ending. He's chasing dominance. And based on early practice footage, he's still got it. You mix Graham's raw explosiveness with Garrett's leadership and Collins' craft, and you get a defensive front built to terrorize the... And that brings us to Stefanski's master plan. Ground control, time of possession, and punishing defense. It's not just theory anymore, it's reality. With a revamped D-line and a rising quarterback on the cusp of greatness, this Browns team isn't here to rebuild, it's here to conquer. But don't be fooled, this team isn't just talented, it's angry. There's a chip on every shoulder in that locker room. The disrespect behind releasing vets like Thornhill, the whispers doubting Shedeur's readiness, the cold business decision to let Chubb walk. This team has something to prove. And that's when Cleveland becomes its most dangerous. You can feel it in every insider tweet, in every snap of practice footage, in every whisper coming out of Berea. This isn't just another season. This is the beginning of a reckoning. And Browns fans, you've suffered enough to know what it feels like when the tide is turning. So now I ask you, are you ready? Because this could be the year that Cleveland doesn't just hope, it remembers who it is. Will Thornhill's words become our fuel? Will Sanders rise and lead with fire? Will Nick Chubb's spirit live on in every yard we gain? Let me hear your thoughts in the comments. What excites you most heading into 2025? Is Shedeur Sanders the future? Should Chubb come back one day for a final Browns moment? If you love this kind of deep, emotional insider storytelling, like, subscribe, and share with your Dog Pound brothers and sisters. This season is just getting started, and you're not going to want to miss a single second. Ward is a four-time Pro Bowler, most recently in 2024 when he notched 49 tackles, 2 interceptions, and a league-leading 19 pass breakups. At just 27, he's still in his prime, shutting down the likes of Jamar Chase and Stefon Diggs with surgical precision. And let's not forget, Ward is locked in through 2027 on a $100 million, $500,000 0 cents deal, the highest paid cornerback in the NFL when he signed in 2022 with over $71 million guaranteed. That's our guy, Dog Pound. So why trade a star like Ward? It all comes down to timing, context, and hard decisions. The 2024 season was brutal. The Browns finished 3-14, dead last in the division, an epic fall from the 11-6 playoff team we cheered for in 2023. That year, our defense was dominant, leading the league by allowing just 270.2 yards per game. Ward, along with Greg Newsome II and Martin Emerson Jr., formed one of the league's most feared cornerback trios. But 2024 told a different story. The defense collapsed to 19th in the NFL, giving up 342.1 yards per game. The offense sputtered with QB instability, injuries, and a lack of explosive playmakers. But in practice, he's been a force of nature. Explosive off the snap, surgical with his technique, and relentless in his pursuit. Coaches are raving. Analysts are paying attention. In a Kevin Stefanski system rooted in clock control and punishing ground attacks, a defense that can force early exits is a game changer. Collins may never be the face of the franchise, but he's that crucial cog, the unsung hero every true contender needs. This Browns team, they're not quietly rebuilding, they're loudly reloading. And the pieces aren't just falling into place. They're being strategically engineered for something greater, something that feels inevitable. Now, it's your turn, Dog Pound. What's your take on Juan Thornhill's parting shot? Are we on the brink of a rivalry renaissance? And most of all, can Shedeur Sanders truly take the reins? Let's unpack this, because this firestorm Thornhill reignited, it's not just about pride. It's a provocation, a challenge. Shedeur Sanders is stepping into the inferno with the poise of a battle-tested veteran and the conviction of a man who knows he was born for this stage. There's a momentum shift in Cleveland. You don't just see it, you feel it in your chest, in your bones. The quarterback competition, it's real, it's intense, it's alive. Sanders isn't up against mediocrity. He's battling established pros who know what it takes to win in the league. But there's something different about this kid. It's not just the sharp release, the field vision, or the accuracy. It's how he carries himself. Calm, under chaos. Commanding in the huddle, focused in the fire. He's not asking for the job. He's taking it rep by rep. Coaches are evaluating every subtle move. Teammates are starting to believe. And fans? You have every reason to think that Sanders could emerge not just as a starter, but as the next face of this franchise. He doesn't want to simply play in the NFL. He wants to win. And win here in Cleveland, a city where loyalty isn't optional, it's a way of life. Speaking of loyalty, let's return to the man who defines it, Nick Chubb. Even as he heads to Houston, his farewell was more than just a goodbye. It was a benediction. You gave me purpose. You showed me what true community feels like. Those weren't empty words. That was a love letter, an anthem, a tribute to a city that lives and breathes football with soul. Chubb will always be more than a player. He's a symbol, he's ours, and while his absence stings, the anticipation surrounding this revamped defense is palpable. Mason Graham isn't here to be eased into the league. He's been brought in to disrupt from day one. With explosive power and rare interior agility, he's the type of defender who forces offenses to rethink their playbooks. And paired with Garrett, offensive lines will lose sleep. Then there's Maliek Collins, a veteran technician who isn't here to collect a check. He's here to contribute meaningfully. In early offseason workouts, he's flashed speed, discipline, and that all-important non-stop motor. He may not start every down, but when the game's on the line, you'll see 96 right in the mix. When you combine Garrett's leadership, Graham's raw talent, and Collins' grinded-out grit, this defensive front is built to terrorize. Kevin Stefanski's vision has never wavered. Pound the rock. Dominate time of possession, suffocate opposing quarterbacks. And now, with a potential franchise quarterback on the rise and a defense sharpened like a blade, the Browns aren't just equipped to compete, they're ready to conquer. But don't overlook this. There's a chip on every shoulder in that locker room. From the veterans released, to the rookies doubted, to the legacies left behind. Every man in that building has something to prove. And that's when Cleveland becomes most dangerous. Not when they're hyped, but when they're hungry. You can feel it in every practice report, in every whispered update from Berea, in every insider tweet that hints at a fire about to explode. This is more than a new season. This is a reckoning. So now, Browns fans, I'll ask you again, are you ready? Because this could be the year we stop dreaming about greatness and start living it. Will Thornhill's words come back to haunt him? Will Shedeur rise and seize the moment? Will Chubb's legacy forever echo in the walls of First Energy Stadium? The answers are coming. This is your team, your city, your story. So drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what excites you most about 2025. Do you believe Sanders is the future? Should Chubb return for one final Browns moment? And if you love this kind of deep, passionate Browns storytelling, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with your Dog Pound family. Because this journey is just beginning, and you won't want to miss a second of it.